So a lot of people have been comparing Ben Simmons to Draymond Green. And I'm going to tell you why this comparison is crazy and why the Nets lost the trade for Ben Simmons in a landslide. See, the NBA media is kind of lazy. They make bad comparisons all the time. For example, because LeBron is 6'8" and can pass, and Luka is 6'8" and can pass, they must be the same player. And just as crazy, because Draymond Green can't shoot, but likes to play defense and can pass, and Ben Simmons can't shoot and likes to play defense and can pass, they must be the same player. So let's start off with the premise that they both can't shoot. That's wrong. Okay? Draymond Green can't shoot. Ben Simmons won't shoot. And there's a big difference. Draymond Green isn't the greatest shooter. He passes up a lot of open threes, but he actually does shoot them. Last year alone, he shot 126 of them. And he shot 27% from three, which is not the greatest, obviously, but at least he did try. Ben Simmons, on the other hand, won't shoot. You know that saying, if you miss 100% of the shots you don't shoot, Ben Simmons doesn't agree with that. Ben Simmons won't shoot if you put a gun to his head. Ben Simmons won't shoot if you put a skunk in his bed. Ben Simmons won't shoot with a fox. Ben Simmons won't shoot with a box. Ben Simmons won't shoot if there is an asteroid that is about to hit the earth like Armageddon. And the way to stop it is Ben Simmons shooting a three. We as a species would die because Ben Simmons is not shooting. So you might say, hey, what does it matter if he can't shoot? You know, he has KD and Kyrie. They can do all the shooting. Draymond Green has Clay and Steph. And if you remember in that iconic Game 7, the biggest pressure game in the NBA in the last 10 years, Cavs versus Warriors, Draymond Green actually led the team in scoring. He made 6 3-pointers in that game. I mean, like, look at this. Look where LeBron is at. Look how open he is. He still won't shoot. Ben Simmons, for his career, 4 years, postseason and regular season combined, has only made 5 threes. So once again, in the highest pressure game that we have had in the NBA in the last 10 years, Draymond Green made 6 threes, and Ben Simmons for his whole entire career has made 5. Make it make sense. And I know what people will say, hey, Ben Simmons is happy to play here. He wasn't happy to play in Philadelphia. And Ben Simmons said in his introductory press conference that this is going to remind him of when he played with J.J. Redick and Marco Bellinelli and Irian Ilyasova, and it was free-flowing and moving. But my question to Ben Simmons is, I know you don't want to shoot, but are your eyes stopped working? Can you not see anymore? Have you watched the NBA game? When did KD and Kyrie become Reggie Miller and Rip Hamilton? KD was on the Warriors, who play a motion offense, and has publicly said, hey, that motion, free-flowing stuff, that stuff is nice, but in the playoffs, you need to go ISO. And you know Kyrie is the ISO king. So my question to the people that think that this is such a great trade for the Nets is, what the hell is Ben Simmons going to be doing when these players are going ISO? Once again, explain it to me like I'm a 4th grader. And, you know, let's go ahead and move on to the passing because, you know, people say, oh, you're a Ben Simmons hater. And passing is one of the areas where I think he's actually better than Draymond Green. Both of the players are really good passers, get a lot of open corner threes for their teammates, and really push the ball. You see, but the thing about pushing the ball when it comes to Draymond Green is he's pushing it in game 53 versus the pathetic, the lowly, the cowardly Sacramento Kings. The same way he's pushing the ball in game 7 of the NBA Finals. He's playing with that same energy and that same pace all the time. Ben Simmons, on the other hand, we saw in the Atlanta series. We saw in the Toronto series. He's coming off the ball. All that fast-flowing playmaking that he does, when the postseason comes around, it goes into hibernation. Ask yourself this question. Have you ever seen a Ben Simmons highlight package of postseason plays? There aren't any. And for all the Nets lovers, riddle me this. If he doesn't make plays in the postseason, what exactly is he doing on your team? This is championship or bust. You didn't come here to win, to beat the Sacramento Kings in game 57. That's not the reason for the season. The reason for the season is to win a title. And lastly, let's talk about defense. You see, NBA defense, if I have to break it down, comes into 4 categories. There's ball pressure. There's being the primary wing defender on a player, primary post defending on a player on a post player, and lastly, rim protection. See, Draymond, he can do all 4 of these things fairly well, and he's really great at post defense and rim protection. Ben Simmons is great at ball pressure, gets a ton of steals, but he's not really good at anything else. I mean, wing defense, Devin Booker dragged him to hell and back. Kawhi baptized him in that iconic series versus the Raptors. And Giannis told him that he's a fucking baby. He's nowhere near the rim defender that Draymond Green is. He's never averaged a block in his whole career. And then lastly, you know, this might just be one of those intangibles, but Draymond, he brings a lot of energy and intensity to the team. And you might think I'm nitpicking here, but guys that play this role, defend, rebound, pass, Draymond Green, Dennis Rodman, players of that ilk, they brought energy and intensity. Do you get energy and intensity when you think about Ben Simmons? Is that what comes to mind? Ben Simmons, you just won the lotto. Ben Simmons, the world is about to end. Same facial expression. Ben Simmons, his spirit animal is Snuffleupagus. He looks the same in game 53 as it in the postseason with the chips down. It's the same look. So he's not the passer that Draymond Green is. He's not the defender, and he won't shoot at all. Tell me how the Nets won in this actual trade then. You know, Daryl Morey, I've heard, is starring in season 2 of The Tinder Swindler. Brooklyn. My enemies are after me, so I'm gonna need you to send me James Harden and $100,000 for Ben Simmons. My enemies are after me. I mean, Daryl Morey, what he just did to the Nets, he traded a player who won't shoot and whose passing just disappears in the playoffs for a former MVP, a former league leader in scoring, and someone who was in the MVP conversation, not 5 years ago, but less than 12 months ago. Make it make sense. Explain it to me like a 4th grader. How does this trade help the Nets? And I know what you're going to say. Well, they didn't just get Ben Simmons. They got Seth Curry and Andre Drummond. The same Seth Curry that was getting dragged to hell and back by Kevin Huerter. The same Andre Drummond that was available for the NBA vet minimum. Any team could have signed him. The same player that Joel Embiid says, I own him. That guy. Those are the guys that are helping you win a title. The Nets are championship or bust. There's no let's build off the momentum of this season and carry it into next season. There's no let's get to the conference finals for the first time in our history. It's championship or bust. And what in Ben Simmons' career has led you to believe that he can help them do that? Let me know what you think. Disagree, agree, leave me a comment. I respond to all of them. The game is the game.
So what's up, man? What's up with you otherwise, you know? The game is a game. Always.